Hey guys, I'm back with a new video. In this video, we'll be performing form validation on a form that I had earlier created using HTML CSS. I will be creating this form from scratch in a separate video. The link for the starter files can be found down below the video. So let us start with the form validation. In this form, what we need to do is we need to validate the form. Okay. The very first thing is that these fields should follow a certain standard. The name should be between 2 to 10 characters. Email should be of the form like we have the characters, then an @ symbol, then some characters, then a dot, and the .com or .me, anything like that. It must have @ and dot included. Then the zip code should be of the format we should have 5 digits, then a hyphen, then 4 digits. So let us start coding this form. The validation regular expressions are defined here. So it follows the format like email should have a @ and a dot included. Okay, and the zip code should follow the format. It should have the first 5 digits, then a hyphen, then the next 4 digits. Okay, and the name should be of the format. It should have uppercase or lowercase characters, and the name must have at least 2 characters, and at max it should have 10 characters. So let us start coding the validation for this. So I'm back in my code editor, and let us define the code. Window, add event listener. The window will be listening for an event called form content loaded event. After listening to this event, the init method will get triggered. So I will say function init. Oh, why is it getting yellow? Oh, okay. I will call bind events in this. But before binding the events to the form, I need to select references. I need to target those input fields before binding events to them. Okay. So let us target these input fields. I'll say const name document dot query selector, and hash name because we are targeting using ID. As you can see in the HTML, in email document dot query selector, and hash email, and then const zip code of document dot query selector, hash zip code, and let us define the bind events handler. We will say name dot add event listener. Why my VS Code is behaving so weirdly? Name dot add event listener. Blur event. On listening to the blur event, we will validate the name. Next, email dot add event listener. And again on the listening to the blur event, we will validate the email. And zip code dot add event listener. On listening to the blur event, we will validate zip code. So let us define these validation functions. The very first one is the validate name handler. We'll say function validate name. We will use the name regex, and we'll scope that regex to the function itself, because we will not be requiring the name regex inside any other function. So let us not pollute our namespace, our global namespace. Just use it within the validate name handler that has a single responsibility of validating the name. To fulfill that single responsibility of validation of name, it should have the regular expression very close to it within its scope. Okay. So let us say if name regex, and we are testing for the name value. Okay. So if this name value, that whatever the user writes in the name input field, does not satisfy this regular expression, you simply say name.classList.add, and we'll add the invalid class, which will give the red borders around the input field, because the name is not satisfying the regular expression for the name. Okay. Otherwise, if it is valid, simply remove that border. and invalid. So let us copy this function and define a validate email method. And let us drag our email regex, which follows the format that we specified, and replace this with email regex. Now the email regex will test for the email.value, okay? Because the email is storing the reference to the input field, which you want to test against this regex, okay? So we'll say email.classlist.add invalid. If the email doesn't satisfy this regular expression, we'll add a red border around it. Otherwise, we'll remove the invalid. We'll remove the red border around it if the email validation goes well, okay? So next is the zip code function for validating the zip code. Again, let us copy this. Let us rename this to validate zip code. Let us copy the zip code regex and here we go down. Just add the zip code regex here, zip regex, and if the zip code dot value does not satisfy this regex for zip code, so it means that the zip code input field is not following the standard that we had defined before starting with the video. So we will have to add red borders around it. We'll say zip code.classlist.add invalid. This will add red borders around it, marking that the zip code field is now invalid. But if it satisfies the regex for the zip code, then we'll say zip code.classlist.remove the invalid class from it. So let us see our form in action. I'm back in I've included the script in the form HTML file. So let us see this in action. As you can see, we are getting red borders around it if the input fields are invalid. But once we type the name and the name satisfies the condition of 2 to 10 characters, the red borders are gone. Write email, the red borders are gone. 1 2 3 4 5 digits, then a hyphen, and then 4 digits. Again, the red border are gone, and the form is now submitted. Okay, so it gets emptied, it gets reset to its initial configuration. So in this video, we learned how to create form validation for our form. I will be implementing the entire form from scratch using HTML, CSS in a separate video. So if you like the video, do give it a thumbs up. And if you want more quality content from me, please subscribe to the channel. This would give me fuel to bring out more quality content for you guys. And I'm bringing out with more new tutorials in the coming week. So thanks a lot, guys.